Hey everybody, how are you doing? Nice to see you. I'm Steve. You can say your name or just look at everyone. You start.
I'm just like, wait, is this a YouTube channel? What are we doing?
Yeah, we're YouTubing and podcasting all at the same time.
Tell us if you like the YouTube, like honestly, because I have to like brush my hair before YouTube.
It's a big hassle.
If nobody cares that this is a video, that's totally fine. I sometimes think it's funny because a lot of times with clients who have businesses and they aren't the main person in their business, they're the service provider. I'm always telling people, like, you should do more videos. You're so compelling on video. I love hearing your voice. I love seeing you. I think people are going to connect with you. It's going to be so much easier to find your ideal people when they really get a sense of your energy. So I'm always encouraging people to do videos. And then I'm like, oh, I don't even like do much. Some people get like very camera ready. I'm like, I'll throw on some eyeshadow for you and do the touch up on the Zoom.
You're just talking about the physical aspects of being camera ready. You do a lot so that your being is camera ready.
Sure, my beingness is always ready, but you know,
It ain't an accident.
we're not
Very
TV,
deliberate.
we're not TV superstars or something.
Yet.
All right. Well, anyway, tell us if you like this format, because if you like it, we'll keep doing it. And if no one cares, then we'll just be a podcast.
I don't know. It's kind of fun to be getting all gussied up.
Are you gussied up?
I'm
You wearing
gussied
makeup
up.
today?
No, but I'm wearing a jacket,
You are.
sport
You are.
coat,
You look very
crisp
fancy.
white shirt.
All right. Stop talking about ourselves and stop looking at ourselves. We're going to talk about you today. This is a very important topic for you, regardless of what you do. But I always think that if you are a business owner or a leader, knowing how to protect your time and your energy is very important. And listen, we're not very good at it. I mean, I'm good at it, but we as a collective, it's a tough one. I'm very good at it.
You're good
Am
at
I?
it.
No, maybe I'm
No,
not.
you are. And it's because you don't give a shit.
I give a shit.
No, you are fine to let things, you know,
Oh,
go in whatever way they might, if it means that you have to take care of yourself, right? You make sure that you don't blow up on the way to making the world look the way you want it to look.
yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not. I don't think it's that I would not frame it as I don't give a shit. I think I'm just no longer willing to be self-sacrificing
Yeah.
for things I don't think really matter.
Which I think the judgmental voice in one's head can really get down on ourselves for having that attitude. You're like, well, if I don't, accomplish everything on my to-do list and get back to every single email and, wipe down every surface and tidy up every single toy, then I'm lazy and I don't give a shit. And we can't live with ourselves in that way. But the cost of that is that we're afraid. We're on the path to burnout and we feel like we never have a moment for ourselves. And you don't get yourself into that position as often as many people do.
Well, I mean, I tricked myself into that.
What's the trick?
I tricked myself into it because I realized that some of you know this, and if you have pre-ordered our book, you're going to get the full story. But about 10 or 11 years ago, I was running my acupuncture clinic. This is before I knew about coaching, before I had any mindset help. I was meditating. I had a spiritual practice, but I didn't have I had a lot of awareness, but not a lot of practical strategic tools to utilize that awareness. So I was an acupuncturist and a yoga teacher, and I was routinely supporting people and their self-care. I was giving them delivering classes, having them relax. I was doing a lot of nutritional and herbal work with people. I was like a pillar for a lot of my clients and their self-care. And then I had a total burnout experience. So my route, I worked 6 days a week between acupuncture and yoga. didn't work like a ton of hours, but I worked weird hours. So I would get up at 6 in the morning to go teach an early morning class. Some evenings I wasn't finishing teaching until 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night. So I was like eating on a weird schedule or like sometimes just skipping it. And I totally burnt out and got very sick, actually. I had a chronic pain and swelling in basically all my small joints. So like my wrists were like 3 times the size. They were hot and swollen. My knees, I could barely bend my knees. And it was a really scary thing because my job was so physical. I needed to be able to drive. I needed to be able to get on and off the floor and do all of these things. And it happened while I had a lot of knowledge about how one could care for themselves. I had a lot of knowledge, but I didn't, and a lot of awareness, but not a lot of practical application, and I paid for it. So the way I I tricked myself into it. First I got sick, so that wasn't really tricking myself. But when I eventually recovered and I started, I think it was when our daughter, right after she was born, that first year, I started to notice that because I felt better physically, I started to like just edge and start playing with that, pushing myself again. I know how to work really hard. I know how to skip meals. I know how to put other people's needs first. And I had a baby who had a lot of needs. And around the time that I started coaching people, it became an integrity issue for me. I was like, I am not going to sit here and tell people to like manage your time better and make sure you have self-care time and like take a day off if I'm not doing those things. So
So you got into coaching to help yourself.
don't we all? It wasn't just getting into coaching. It was just that as I was coaching, I didn't want to ever again be in a place where I was telling people, I don't tell people what to do as a coach, but like offering strategies that I wasn't familiar with and wasn't using. I didn't want to do that again because I knew it was totally hypocritical. I just didn't want to be a hypocrite. So I started actually doing the things I knew would support me. Imagine that they did.
So it was a integrity
Mhm.
issue.
At first.
Yeah.
At first, it really was not about like, oh, I want to be amazing at looking after myself. At first, it was like, I just didn't want to be full of shit.
Right. And I think what's interesting with both of these, we've kind of touched on 2 points that I think can be helpful to you as a leader and business owner, you, the listener, not you, Aaron, is the first is actually taking a moment to consider your real priorities and why they're in that place.
Mhm.
And the second is to have integrity with those stated priorities. So many times business owners, leaders will speak about taking time off, having regenerative time, making sure that their team is able to feel supported and have the time that they need to have a healthy work-life harmony. And then they'll say, well, since I've empowered everybody else to do that, I have to work twice as hard so that I, take up all their slack. That is not integrity. That is, you know, putting yourself last, which is a recipe for burnout. So being clear on what those priorities are, and then doing the work to have the integrity around it. So if that means maybe some emails will not be answered, until the next business day, being okay with that and realizing that within the bigger picture of how you want your business to look and feel, that makes more sense than getting every last thing on your to-do list done.
Yeah. And something just occurred to me like, I don't want to present this as though, like I might have gotten sick anyway. It's not like, oh, I burned out and then my body attacked me and like it's all punishment for my sin of not taking care of myself.
Very Judeo-Christian of you.
Yeah, that's not my style.
Not really.
But what I noticed about that time is the period of time afterwards where I really had to learn how to actually rest, like learn how to sleep or at least stay in bed when I couldn't sleep. Um, Something that helped me that I actually suggest leaders and business owners do, especially if you're in a space where your team finds that challenging to take time off or to unplug or to get rest and protect their own time and energy, is I sort of did it so I would have the anecdotal evidence of what it was like and to discover the challenges. So if you just were to challenge yourself to take 2 days off, and off, I mean like no emails, no work-related phone calls, no checking something on your laptop, like to truly unplug from your work sphere for 2 full days. If you've never done that before or you haven't done it in a long time, you can expect there's going to probably be some issues. Usually who we have to protect our time and energy from is ourselves. But if you were to say, I'm going to do this as an experiment to see what it's like and to find out what my challenges are, to find out that like when I'm sitting on the couch watching a movie with my kids and my phone is right there, that's a challenge for me because I want to just pick it up and just check in. Just want to see if I've got a new Slack message. I want to see how our sales are today. How are you going to make it easy for yourself to not do that? Well, lock the phone in a drawer. Or you're going to try give your phone to your kid and tell them to pick a new password. I did this with our kids. If they caught me working outside of work hours, I told them I would pay them $2. And man, they were great coaches.
Motivated.
They would come around every corner like, is that your laptop? Is that your computer? Let me see what you're doing. Are you working? They did make some money from that experience.
Well, of course. But I think you raise a really important point here that the main person responsible for protecting your time and energy, and usually the main betrayer of your time and energy, is not other people, it's yourself. Other people are going to want it. They're going to want your time and energy, especially if you are an influential person, if you are the boss, if you are a leader in some way, people are going to want a piece of that. And you might even feel compelled to be working on it. You might feel responsible for it. But in the end, it is how you set the expectations and what you allow in your own mind that builds that bridge for people to say, okay, I'm going to pull you in on this. I'm going to add you to that meeting invite. I'm going to, schedule this event for you. It's you saying yes, not pushing back, and not saying, I am protecting this, that actually allows that to continue. Nobody else can take your time without you being up for it.
This is where amazing assistants can come in. They can be the gatekeeper of the time. But also, we have so many great automation tools and systems these days to do that without any human needing to spend their time trying to protect your time. So some simple things when you're maybe an autoresponder on your email, it's a very simple concept. And yet so many people I talk to who tell me they're very busy and they have no time and everyone's always invading their time, they don't use autoresponders. If it's the weekend, if it's a vacation, if it's a time where you are focused on some other aspect of your work that is an email, let the people who are coming into your inbox know that you're going to be slower to respond or you're not going to be responding at all. It will not only help you not be like infiltrated with requests for your time and your energy, but you will start to train the people who work with you to know that you actually take your time boundaries seriously. Your energy is precious. They will think twice before interfacing with you on things that don't really matter and don't really need you. So much about protecting your time and energy is about how you treat it yourself and how you value it within yourself. But then it's taking that and extending it out to the relationships you have so that other people know what is acceptable, especially if you're a leader, you get to kind of set those expectations for how to interact with you and when. I love the idea of people having their own sort of communication rules or guidelines. So when someone is new to the team, you can say, here's how we communicate in this culture according to our values. We don't have 3-hour meetings over things that don't matter. If you're going to set up a meeting, meetings are no longer than 45 minutes. Meetings require an agenda and you need to tell each person why they are required at that meeting. They get to opt out if it's not actually for them. You can be very specific about that within the workplace.
And that helps everybody. Now, what's really interesting about time and energy is there are so many factors to protecting your energy. And most of them come down to a feeling. Like, what is the feeling that you have in this moment? Even if the feeling is, depleted, that can be physiological, but there's also a psychological, there's a spiritual element to depleted as well. So the place to begin when you're thinking about protecting your energy is actually tapping into what is your energy? How are you feeling? So many people, and it's evident in your story as well, Aaron, you just push on through. And you take that as your badge of honor. You're like, push on through,
So
Arnold, push on
busy,
through, push on
working
through.
so hard.
Yeah. And so you aren't taking any time to tap into what is my energy? What do I need right now? And what's going to support me? I had a fascinating conversation with a client the other day. We were talking about how they wanted to, implement a new process. And they were like, this just sounds soul sucking. I think that was my word. They said something, that's like, this does not sound fun. And I was like, okay, so that is not a problem. That is a pointer.
It's a clue.
It's a clue that you're going down a path that is not going to be fruitful for you. And so in a world where you actually want to protect your energy, you take that clue and you say, so then what else is possible? Rather than, all right, I guess I got to find a way to make this thing, energetic. You're like, no, let's not make it an hour-long meeting about whatever the thing is. Let's find other ways to create those connections, to come up with those ideas. You let that energetic signature of that decision guide you towards something that's going to give you energy rather than force you to get through yet another thing.
And this is where the relationship with time and energy, I think, is so often underrated. You have to have some time built into your life to be able to pick up those energetic signals. So it's really hard if you've sort of conditioned yourself to push through to actually notice those feelings because you've probably been blasting past them for so long. So I would suggest, I just did this with the Your Magical Life community yesterday. We did a 10-minute meditation with no instructions, no goals, no visualization, no special breathing technique. It was really just sitting, being present, keeping a very wide perspective, and spending 10 minutes being instead of doing.
I can feel the energy shift even as you speak about it. I'm like,
see, I felt you gotta go into
pause.
just be.
Everyone, you just take a moment to be.
But and in some ways, I think this is in some ways, it's a very simple form of meditation, but it's quite challenging. It's a form of meditation we've both practiced extensively for many years. And it's only one of the practices that I do. But when I'm feeling overwhelmed and I'm very busy and I feel like I'm just doing so much output and there's not a lot kind of coming back to me, sitting and being is a way to signal to my body, to my energy, to my spirit that I am listening. I am present. So over time, what starts to happen is you'll notice that energetic signature of something being like, oof, soul sucking. Oof, this doesn't feel right. Ooh, this is like I'm squishing I feel squishy. I always feel like I'm getting like crushed into like a little narrow tunnel when I'm going down a road like that. And then it's an opportunity to say, how do I want to expand into my vision and values to do this differently in a way that's respectful of my time and energy, that values my life force and of those around me. And you will come up with some very creative and interesting things. Another important piece to this is not just the 10 minutes of time and space and energetic recognition, it's also giving yourself longer periods of that. It's something we bring to our retreats, is having a few full days of being very present with yourself, being taken care of. So we're planning a retreat this summer with a very small group, and there's going to be time for people to go for walks. We're going to take care of the food. We're taking care of sort of setting the atmosphere, and then we're going to take care of their strategy and their minds and, you know, teach them a lot of really neat stuff. But it's all happening without a meeting right after, or without things to be cleaned up at home. It's happening in a space that's completely devoted to the nourishment and enhancement of the energy of those individuals.
If you've ever done a retreat, you know the power of extracting from the day to day and actually taking some time to focus on the subtler dimensions of your life. So that would be you're protecting your time by removing yourself from those time pressures. You're protecting your energy by coming into a space that is designed to give you that room to think, to reflect, to be. And it's a real gift to yourself. I was talking to someone just the other day who was reflecting on, you know, all the work they're doing, all the things they're doing, all the magical creations they've brought about in their life. They're like, and I'm exhausted. My family does not get the best of me because I'm putting out so much energy. I haven't spent time just being. And so if that's you and you resonate with the idea of taking that time and tuning in to those voices within and what your energy needs to be filled in, then you should join us.
Mm-hmm.
We still have some openings for the retreat. You can learn more at besuperabound.com/summer-retreat, and all the information is there.
I think you also just touched on a clue, an energetic signature, if you will. If you have patterned yourself to blast past the squishy, bad feeling of going down routes that take from you in ways that don't replenish you, a clue is when you start to feel bad that your loved ones aren't quote unquote getting your best. Because chances are, if you are feeling bad for your partner, for your kids, for your dog, for your cat, your brothers, like whoever is in your circle, you're not even thinking about you. You're still not thinking about you. You're still not thinking about your time and energy. And you're even one more layer removed from knowing how you feel and what you need. But you are aware, because you're getting feedback from the people who love you, that they're not getting the love. The answer to that is not to pour more energy into that bucket, because it usually means you're also depleted. I actually think the times I have felt that way, it's been very tempting to say, I'm absolutely not going away. I'm absolutely not going on retreat. My children need me. My husband needs me. But like they were kind of just getting like a ghost walking around the house, being drained. The best thing for me to do in those cases is always to go away, have time alone, or be on a retreat where I'm fully taken care of and very consciously replenishing my supply of energy and learning, this is something you will learn at our retreat, learning how not to get to that place again. It's not enough to just go away and have a great weekend. You actually need to learn the tools to tend your inner flame, which is something Steve and I, we're going to pat ourselves in the back here. We're experts at teaching, and we would love to support you and doing. But it took a while, and we're going to teach you all of that this summer.
You'll also learn what it means to protect your energy internally, right? Because again, often the biggest source of energy leaks is not the other people who are demanding our time and attention. It's actually the way we talk to ourselves. It's the conversations that we invest our energy in. It's the static that we believe and don't actually clear, kind of ground, what we call healing static. So the retreat will be an opportunity to uncover some of those patterns that leave you depleted simply because of your own habits of mind, right? The ways that your unquestioned beliefs zap your energy rather than fill it up.
Mm-hmm. So you should come if we still have spots left.
It's going to be amazing. It's in Ontario in the summer, which is the best place to be and the best time to be there. And we'd love to see you there. So head over to either the link on this page or, like I said, besuperabound.com/summer-retreat.
Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.